Hey guys, it's Nolan. Hope you're all doing really well. It is Tuesday, 22nd of March, 2022. Let's just have a look at a few charts of interest. But before we do that, actually, let me just bring over the news tomorrow. Always make sure you're aware of what's going on, with the news, the high impact news, especially because these are the news events which can cause volatility, the most volatility in the market. So tomorrow we've got pound CPI news, also affecting the pound, or potentially could affect the pound. We've got the Bank of England Governor Bailey speaking, Fed Chair Powell speaking, that could affect US dollar, and we've got the annual budget release as well. So that will potentially see some volatility on GBP. So make sure you are aware. There's lots of different sources for this information, but the most common one is, I would say the most common one is forexfactory.com/calendar. Just in case you don't know, you can basically filter out the different priorities of news here. So I basically have this medium and low unticked, and I leave the this kind of grey marker ticked and the red one ticked as well. Apply filter, and that gives me the high impact news announcements, and it gives me bank holidays as well. So for instance, if there was a bank holiday in the USA, then potentially the afternoon session here in the UK would be a little bit quieter because there'd be less liquidity in the market, for instance. So I always have the bank holidays, the kind of grey marker, non-economic news, ticked as well. So a little bit of information there for you, but yeah, forexfactory.com/calendar. Right, let's have a little look at pound USD. We do have pound news tomorrow, but this is something we've talked about, and Mark's talked about it. We've had some posts on social media about it as well. Looking at this inverse head and shoulder pattern. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline here at 1.32. Now we've clearly broken above 1.32, and it looks like we're going to have a daily close above 1.32 as well. Now, technically, the trade we would look for is for price to come and retest 1.32. Look for a rejection, so look for those sellers as we push down, turn into buyers, and then look to target the next level. Okay, we've got support here, or broken support, which could become resistance. It's the next big number as well, 1.33. We're trading from 1.32 to 1.33. Now, that is the optimal, I would suggest optimal trading situation. Basically, break, retest, rejection, and buy. Okay, now there's two things you can do really if you're looking for that. You can place a buy limit. I'd suggest at 1.32. If you are going to do that, stops below this low, target 1.33. That would only give you a 1% reward to risk, 1-to-1 basically. Not the best in the world. Now, because of that news though, I would be a little bit wary about placing a buy limit, and I would be going on price action. So I'd be looking for smaller time frame. This is the 4 hour. I'd be looking on the hourly. I'd be looking for that pullback into 132, and then looking for a morning star pattern potentially, and then trading that. Okay, now that's the ideal situation. It might not happen. We might just simply go straight up to 1.33. Now we don't know, but if that does happen, then so be it. We didn't get in that trade. But if we do get into 1.33, then we might actually see some selling come in, and then we might see price come back and retest 1.32. So we've got a couple of situations that could play out. We might even have a situation that I haven't talked about, but that's the ideal situation. Okay, we retest 1.32. We then see buyers come in, and we then look for a buy setup into 133. We may not we may not get that pullback. We may go straight there, in which case you could look for sellers to come in and potentially look to sell back to 132. There we may see buyers come in again, and we might see something like this and break 133, look for a retest, and potentially come and trade up into 134. So especially with those news announcements tomorrow, I think it's really important that you are trading price action rather than limit orders or what you think is going to happen. Okay, because what you think is going to happen and what actually does happen, pretty much there is a difference there, put it that way. So if you haven't got much time on your hands, if you're not going to be in front of the charts, then potentially a buy limit would be 132 would be an entry into the market. Stops below, at least below this low or below this low. But for me, I'd be looking at price action if I'm honest with you. Okay, but it's looking good so far. Like I say, inverse head and shoulders pattern is playing out as we predicted. We've broken the neckline, so let's see. Hopefully we get a retest of 132 and a rejection for a long setup. You can see I've got my alert there. I've got it a little bit earlier than 132, 132.07, so 7 pips in front. That's just so I can kind of, it makes me aware before we get to that big number, so I can kind of get prepared and I know what I'm looking for. So let's see what happens with that tomorrow. I do like it for longs, but it's just whether the market gives us a trading setup, okay? Because that's really important. It's very important that you are, you've got a strategy, you have an entry technique, if you like, an entry for your strategy, exit the trade. That's whether if it hits target or whether price is going wrong. Always use a stop loss as well, guys. Always use good risk management, and always calculate the risk on your account when you're placing a trade. 1 to 2% absolute max should be the risk on any one trade. Okay, but preferably I like 1%, but 2% absolute max. And I would suggest that if you're going to go for that kind of high end, then you really need to know what you are doing. Just noticed actually there's a trend line here as well, so we could actually see price come in and test the trend line. But I do like this 132 zone, I must admit. So if price comes back into there and we see a rejection, morning star, or a bullish setup, then we'll be looking to get involved with that, looking to trade it up to 133. Now, yen. I mean, yen just gone crazy. Yen is, all of the yen charts are just, if I just show you, they are bullish. Look at all these up on the day. Look, 1%, 2%, 1.78, 1.18, 1.99, nearly 2% on Aussie yen. So what is going on? Because last time we looked at yen, or last time I looked at yen in one of these videos, we were looking potentially at this little zone here as an area where price could stop and reverse, because last time price was back into this zone, this was 2016/2017, this was an area where sellers came into the market. Now we always look left to kind of give us a clue about what potentially could happen. Now price has come into the zone and there's been no rejection. Okay, there's been, sellers have not come in. We've actually, this is the monthly candle, still got 9 days to go, but at the moment looking incredibly bullish. Now why is that? Well, there are going to be different traders watching this of varying experience, but I'm going to put it as basically as I can. It's to do with talks of rate increases from the Fed. What basically is happening is that the market is investing their money into yields and taking their money out of the Japanese yen. So the Japanese yen is basically getting weak, and the money is being transferred into yields, because at the end of the day, the market wants to make money. The market wants to invest its money, its capital, into whatever they think is going to either make them money or at least hold its value. So they're putting money into yields because the interest rates are rumored to be going up, and that's going to make them money. Okay, and they're taking it out of yen. Yen is weak. Yen is always the second part of a currency pair. With an incredibly weak yen, we are seeing the yen pairs go up, and that is why this is happening. Okay, so there is a reason, you know, and it's basically as simple as that. Now the question is, you know, how far is this going to go up? How far are these yen pairs going to move north before, you know, at least we see a correction? Maybe we want to look for a retest of this 1750, 118 level. Well, we don't know. All I can say to you guys is, at the moment, yen weakness is absolutely, you know, it's just throughout the market. So what I wouldn't do, I'll tell you what I would do and what I wouldn't do. So for instance, this is the daily candle on yen at the moment. Very, very strong candle. Yep, very, very bullish market. But what I wouldn't do personally is buy above the daily candle, because for me, I hate buying when the market is so overextended for such a long period of time, because the market moves in cycles at the end of the day. You know, we have a very, very nice move here. We see the correction. Nice move here. We see a correction. Okay, big move here, see a correction. Move here, we see a small correction, but we see a correction, move, and then we see a bigger correction. So I would like to see a correction in the market on, you know, on a bigger time frame. Personally, I wouldn't be placing any buy stops above daily candles. However, if you are an intraday trader, you know, and you can trade hourly, I would suggest hourly and below, then potentially you could look for entries, you know, looking for those long trades. So for me, for instance, on the hourly, I'll be looking for pullback at least into the 20 moving average, which is in blue here, and then buyers to come into the market again. So with these yen pairs, I think because they're so overextended, intraday trades only long with a valid trading setup. Okay, don't just buy. There has to be, you have to be trading with a strategy. Okay, really important. Strategy and risk management. So, you know, those yen pairs are going up. I've told you why. I've told you what I wouldn't do, and that is, you know, just placing buy stops above daily candles, because I feel that the market could correct at any time. Whether it does in the next couple of days, we don't know. But for me, it's intraday trading only if you get a valid setup. Okay, valid trading setup. So 1 hour, 15 minute, you know, whatever your strategy involves, whatever time frame. Okay, so let's see what happens with this, with dollar yen. Let's see how far it goes. Now, what I would say is that if we get a daily bearish candle, then potentially that could be the start of a correction, and we could place a sell stop underneath it. Like this bearish daily candle here, that could have been the start of a correction back down towards 116.34, 116.50. Now a sell stop underneath that candle would have, you know, if price would have broken that low, would have triggered. But instead, basically it was an inside candle, and it was just the market taking a little bit of a breather, a pause, and we carried on up. But what I would say is, you know, if we do get a bearish candle, then consider placing a sell stop underneath it, because that could be the start of the correction. Dollar CAD, excuse the fact that I've just changed color schemes from, in fact what I'll do is I'll just do that. Dollar CAD, interesting. We are at a trend line, weekly, daily trend line. So we could, and I say could, see buyers come in here for another move up. Now I am, I can see these wicks here, these kind of wicks in this zone. So I'm a bit wary of, targets anywhere above here really. So this would be, if I was going for longs, I would be looking for a target one well before here and final targets basically in this zone. Bigger picture though, if we look at this, potentially it could be a correction of this impulse here, kind of flag pattern, and we could see price drop down. So I am waiting on this really before I get involved. Obviously what I like to see is price reacts off this trend line and we see buyers come in. Now if you did want to place a trade, then you could consider a buy stop above today's daily candle, for instance, something like that. Stops below the low. For me, I always like a 1%. Well, I'm going to take half of the money off. Final targets, like I say, could be back up into these highs here. Now, what I would prefer to see is a morning star pattern. So something like this, bearish candle, candle 2 here, doesn't matter what color candle 2 is, candle 3, bullish candle. So basically it's a reversal from sellers into buyers. Got no morning star pattern in there, so that would be my preference. But this could easily break through as well, and if it breaks through and closes below this trend line, then we're going to be looking for corrections, either on the smaller time frame or daily correction, and then looking for sellers to come in again for shorts on this. So preference for longs is a morning star pattern at least, but shorts, we want to see it push and break through the trend line, looking for a correction, then looking for sellers to come in for shorts. Silver, I think I've talked about this over the past couple of weeks. Still looking for this, and it's looking pretty good. I'm looking for it to come into this zone, this 24 zone, and that move back up into resistance up here, that kind of 28.5, 29 zone. We'll say 28.5, which encompasses these wicks here. We can see that seems to have a lot of zones here. We can see that bounce, new high. I'm looking for that pullback into this zone where we've seen buyers come in before, around about 24, and then I'm looking for that push up. So, I've got my alert set, 24. And it's really a simple case of waiting. If the alert goes off, when the alert goes off, then we're looking at the smaller time frames and looking for long setups there. Potentially, you could look for shorts on a smaller time frame into the zone. But again, like I keep saying, guys, you have to have a setup. You have to have a strategy. So, for instance, I can see this double bottom here. We push up, we push down, form a higher low because it's higher than these lows here, but then we form a lower high. And can you see this move down, move up, and a lower low? So what we could be doing is that move towards 24. So just watch if price comes back into this zone here, which was support. So we're talking around about 24.9, maybe even 25, but 24.9. If we see that, we see a rejection as well, then there could be a setup into that 24 zone, and then I'll be looking for longs. Okay, so potential short-term shorts on silver if we get that setup, pullback rejection. Again, if I'm 1% up, I'm going to be banking 0.5%, putting the stop loss to break even, and then, seeing what happens if we do actually push on forward down into that 24 zone. Always good to bank money, on the way, when you're in profit, bank some money, moving stops, reducing risks. That's the way your account is going to increase in size. Okay. Last but not least, Nasdaq, and I'm going to show you a trade setup that I actually sent out to the guys yesterday. and that is, well, let me show you the chart first, because last week we had, which was this candle here, we had a bullish engulfing candle, which actually engulfed 1, 2, 3 weekly candles. Now, the more candles a bullish engulfing candle engulfs, the more powerful the signal. So this was really, really good. Normally you don't see many engulfing candles that engulf 3 candles. Normally they'll just, engulf 1, 2 maybe, but 3 is good. So what does an engulfing candle mean? Okay, it means that it broke the high and the low of these previous 3 candles. Look, so here's the low, it broke that low, broke that low, broke that low, and it also broke the high of that candle, that candle, that candle. Okay, broke the highs and the lows, and it closed above the high of the candles, okay, which with the highest high was here. So very, very strong signal, and the fact that it came off this 1300 level, which is previous support, I really, really like this for longs. And when you look at the monthly chart, you can see it's pulled back, and these wicks are looking very, very nice. It's telling me there are buyers in the market. So, traditionally, indices, very bullish markets. The Nasdaq isn't any different. I can foresee this making an all-time high, breaking these highs here, coming into 1700, and who knows, maybe all the way up into 20,000. So we've actually placed a buy limit, just looking for a cheeky little pullback around about that 14,000 big number, stops underneath the low, and this could be a long-term trade. So that is set, that is waiting, that is pending, and hopefully it's going to trigger for us. Hopefully it's going to come into this little zone and start to see buyers come in again. So there's a nice little free trade idea for you. Whether you take it or not will be up to you, because I do suggest you do your own analysis before taking any trades that I may suggest. This video is for educational purposes, but I will let you know, I will speak the truth. This is a trade setup that we have sent out. This is a trade setup that I personally have on my account. So I am willing to risk 1% of it to see potentially a 5.45% gain. All right, guys, so that's it from me. Have a great rest of your evening, and I will catch you in the next video. You take care, guys. Speak to you later. Bye.